definitely a winnable game for the Chicago Bulls. The guarding Cam Thomas, not extremely well, but he's 4-10 from the field, 12 points. Finney Smith has 16 points. He's actually leading the Brooklyn Nets in scoring. We got Kobe White 4-7 with 10 points. Zach LaVine's 5 of 9 for 13 points, and DeMar DeRozan has 14 points as well. Nikola Vucevic is 1 for 3 so far, only taking 3 shots, not really taking advantage of some of the lack of size with the Brooklyn Nets yet, which is a little bit concerning. But the Bulls also are 9 of 18 from three-point range, 50%. They're 57% overall from the field, so the efficiency's there. Patrick Williams is also playing really well off the bench, 2 or 3 from the field, but both of those shots coming from the three-point line. He has 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block from Patrick Williams. He has the highest plus minus on the team at +10 as well. Torrey Craig, though, looking like a nice starter out there for the Chicago Bulls. Hasn't really scored a lot of points. He's 1 of 2 from the field, 1 of 1 from three-point range, but he has 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He's getting active out there for the Chicago Bulls. But listen, that the wake-up call that Patrick Williams needed may have come. Now, we need to see it throughout multiple games before we can say that for sure. But Patrick Williams is absolutely coming out aggressive off the bench. He came out extremely aggressive coming off that bench. Let's see if that continues for Patrick Williams in the second half of this game. But overall, I'll say this, a pretty positive night for the Chicago Bulls so far in this game. Like I said, they're down by 1 point. They definitely got some things that they need to tighten up as well in this game. And if they tighten those things up, things can be a little bit better. Both teams right now, 10 points off turnovers. The Chicago Bulls are leading the rebounding battle by only 2. We both have 1 offensive rebound. The Chicago Bulls, 2 second chance points to the Brooklyn Nets, none right now. Both teams shoot the ball pretty well. Both teams are at 50% or over 50% on this game. So if the shooting trends continue, it's really going to be about the team that can kick it into that second defensive notch, or the team that can keep up the shooting if it comes down to offense as well. So we'll see what that's going to be. JK says, anyone keep clowning P. Will and Kobe? Listen, they showed up, and that's why listen, their play was bad, especially P. Wills, but he's playing really well off the bench. Love Patrick Williams came out aggressive. Completely agree with you on that one, Shay. He also says this, wow, Ben Simmons is actually shutting down Nikola Vucevic. Yeah, it's like you would expect Vooch to be able to take advantage of that size mismatch, but he hasn't been right now. So we'll see what happens with Vooch and if he can tighten that up a little bit for sure. But we'll see. Keanu D says, Bulls jersey look like a tank top I'd see at Hollister. That is hilarious. That's funny. That's actually pretty damn funny. Let's see. He says also, but wait, fans told me Pat is worth a can of soda. Listen, and that's why you can't make the knee-jerk things. Now, I will say, Pat Williams' play has been bad, but if he can find his groove and thrive off the bench against bench players, then, hey, maybe that's the sign. That's the push that his confidence needs. Let's Talk Bull says, we need to stop letting people drive past us off the dribble. I mean, absolutely. It's easier said than done, but absolutely. Kind of disappointed with the officiating. I thought we'd be – what's my camera doing? I thought we'd be all over this shit after how bad last season, but I guess not. But going in the half down by 1 isn't bad. Let Zach cook. Listen, when Zach gets into a rhythm, he is one of the most fun shooters or scorers that you can see in the league, because it's just so many different ways, and he's so quick and decisive with it when he's playing that way. The lineup of P. Will and Craig shows we need more wings. I mean, listen, I think we need some more size for sure, but we'll see. Vooch is a defensive liability tonight. Can't really blame him, though. But Dorian Finney-Smith looks like an all-star being guarded by Vooch. Yeah, they need to probably maybe switch something up there. Vooch ain't got the mobility like he used to. That shuffle looking like a crab walk. Vooch was never the most mobile big either, right? Every time DeMar dribbles and keeps holding the effing ball, I want to punch him, push the effing pace. That's just not, and that's one of the things that we talked about, right? That's not really the strength of DeMar DeRozan. And it can work. You gotta kind of pick your spots and figure out how to balance it and make it work for sure. But I mean, this team is trying to play and add things to the game that typically is not a strength of DeMar DeRozan. So that's absolutely going to be affected and impacted by that. But DeMar's a smart player, right? He's a crafty player. You trust that DeMar is going to be able to figure out his spot. Even with the team playing more up tempo, even that means him maybe facilitating a little bit more. But I mean, when you're trying to move to a style that doesn't fit a player like DeMar, it causes some issues. Definitely causes some issues. So let's see what else we got. Dorian Finney-Smith is 6'7", playing center and outworking 6'10" Vooch. I remember last season against the Pistons when Pat Bev got on Vooch about lack of effort. Vooch got mad. That's not what happened. He didn't get on about lack of effort. He got on him about missing a rotation, and Vooch kind of threw it back at him a little bit, but he didn't get necessarily mad. They were cool the next play. Like, people kind of overstate that. Samir says, I'm happy with how we playing, but I don't like the lineups with DeMar and Drummond in it. But listen, I don't know if you saw my episode a couple days ago, right? DeMar is like finding the right rotation and the perfect rotation or a lineup with DeMar in it is hard right now with this team. Him and Kobe don't play well together. Him and Drummond don't really play well together. Him and Vooch really try to occupy the same space. They're able to kind of make it work because they're both crafty, but they typically are trying to get to the same spot as well. So it's things like that just it takes a big part of coaching to kind of try to find that balance. Jerome says, wish P. Will was starting. I still feel like benching him isn't the answer. I feel like P. Will just doesn't fit on this team in order for him to blossom. But hey, that's just me. Listen, I don't agree with that because we've seen people blossom in way worse scenarios and situations. Paul George blossomed at a point where Danny Granger was on that team, and Danny Granger was one of the most ball-dominant players in the NBA at that point in time. You can, but you have to have coaching that is focused, not really solely focused, but has a focus on development and how they add to a player's skill set and utilize a player. We don't have that on this team. So I think P. Will can learn to develop on this team, and maybe being on the bench is that. Hopefully P. Will looking good enough to trade. Listen, they're not trading people. Let me get this in y'all head. Everyone, every Bulls fan that's under the sound of my voice, the Bulls are not trading Patrick Williams. And even then, I tell you what, y'all really think the Bulls are going to get something? It doesn't matter if P. Will has 10 good games in a row. You think that's going to up P. Will's trade value? It's not. P. Will is not going to be traded. You can talk about it all day. This ain't 2K where you can just trade somebody who's not playing good for you, but because their rating's decent, you're going to get a good thing back. It's not. The Bulls, he's going to get a second contract with the Bulls, as he should, as he's 22 years old, and they're going to take a look at it. They're going to continue to develop him and see what he's going to turn into. He's probably not going to get the full 5 years. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a 2+1, but they're not trading Patrick Williams. We got to stop. The answer to everything is not, let's trade a player because we're not happy with him. It's not realistic. Come on, man. Come on. I expect a little bit more from y'all. Stop protecting Vooch. He's washed. Orlando, no, he's not washed. That's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. That's stupid. To call Vooch washed means to me that either you don't watch or you don't understand basketball very well. Vooch is far from washed. I can name you 36 players in the NBA that are considerably worse than Nikola Vucevic that are getting paid more than him. Vooch is not washed at all. This team doesn't do a good job at identifying it when he's open all the time, and he's going to have times where he gets mismatched and he's not able to perform to the level that we expect. But Vooch is far from washed. I need people to not just watch basketball to watch it. I need people to watch basketball to actually understand and process the game. Because saying Vooch is washed is crazy. Overtime hating on our court, but people in the comments saying it looks good. Listen, to me, I'll say this. The red looks a little bit different than what it looked like in pictures. Maybe it was the lighting at that time. I don't like the two-tone red. The different red strip they have going down the middle, I don't quite like that. But I do like having a red court. There's something just about having a red court for me that I do like. But the design can definitely use some work. It can definitely use some work. Surprise Kobe hit that three. He's been Westbrooking them things so far this season. Listen, I mean, right now, the Chicago Bulls have been on, except this game, we're shooting over 50% from both three and the field, so it's hard to critique it. But overall, the Bulls shooting this season has been absolute dog cheeks, right? So let's hope that it's going to continue. Let's trade a player because we're not happy with him. These other Bulls fans would trade the whole team if they could. Absolutely. Absolutely. Keys, because you think a couple of games makes a player's value the highest? That's a dumbass thought process. I'm just going to be real with you. GMs aren't fans. They don't look at a 5-game stretch and be like, boom, let's get him. Let's get him. There's no GM in the league that will look at even a 20-game stretch over what has been Patrick Williams' 4 years in the league and say, boom, let's get him now. Let's get him now. It's time to get him now. No GM will do that. None. So you're not trading somebody at their highest value. His value is going to be low for the remainder of this season. For P. Will's value to be high, it would literally take P. Will to look good for at least a season and a half. At least a season and a half. There's been way too much passive P over his career for 3 or 5 games to make a player's value high. What are we? The only thing high is probably you right now, my brother. That's probably the only thing that's high right now. Talking about some of their value being high. What the hell are we talking about, bro? Watching the best halftime hangout from my Bulls on the laptop while watching Braves. Whoa. Thank you for the super chat, but that was a little bit too much sharing there, bro. That's crazy. That's wild. Watching every game, he get protected, but Zach got to do this. Kobe got to do that. Vooch still can't take advantage of a mismatch, right? Watch games you watching. The games that Vooch has taken advantage of mismatches several times. You mean the game against the Indiana Pacers, where every time Tyrese Halliburton or any guard got switched on him, Vooch absolutely made the team pay? Or are you talking about the first game of the season where the Chicago Bulls couldn't make a simple entry pass and Vooch was calling for the ball when he had the mismatch? What are you talking about? You can't challenge somebody on watching games because you think because you're saying, oh, Vooch is this. I watch. You know, the fuck you don't. Either you watch games and you don't understand shit, meaning you're a fucking idiot, or you're not really watching the games. There's no in between on that. There's no in between on that. Period. There's no in between on that. So come on. What we doing, man? What we doing, bro? If people was playing well enough to have a high value while we trade them, that's another thing. That's crazy, bro. Crazy. Bros out here watching Haize and Sarah Banks at the same time. That's hilarious. That's funny. That is hilarious, bro. Yeah, I watched the minutes with DeMar off the floor, and we played a lot more aggressive off ball and off defense. Yeah, I mean, listen, it is what it is, bro. That's just one of the limitations of DeMar DeRozan. And honestly, it doesn't seem like this team, like the front office, is worried about it too much. But hey, Keys, no, I don't talk to everybody like they're dumb. I talk to fucking idiots like they're dumb. So if you feel like I'm talking to you dumb, I tell you what, I give people what they put out. If you feel like I'm talking to you like you're dumb, be smarter. That's it. That's all I got to tell you. Be smarter. That's it. Be smarter. Like, all I can say is this, bro. Like I tell everybody, this is just dead serious. This is all jokes aside, right? Get you some multivitamins. Your mama didn't give you Flintstone vitamins because that brain ain't quite developed. If you really think that by the trade deadline, P. Will's trade value is going to be high when teams have to either make the choice to extend him or not, that they're going to give up any type of valuable assets for a player that at that point in time, let's just say P. Will balls out from now to the trade deadline. Do you think 25 to 30 more games is going to make a team say, we feel comfortable to give up assets for a player that for 3.5 years hasn't looked good at all, right? Showing flashes. We're going to give up some considerable assets because the Bulls aren't going to trade him away for nothing for a player that we aren't even sure if he's going to be this consistently, and we have to pay him in the offseason. Come on, man. What we talking about, Keys? And you talking to people like they dumb. I'm sorry, but listen, be more intelligent. Be more intelligent. That's all I got to say. Whether you have to swallow some cum for the extra DNA to get to your brain so that your brain can jumpstart, I don't know what you need to do, bro. I heard that cum does wonders for skin and brain development. Maybe go get you some Enfamil. I don't know what to say, but listen, what you talking about ain't reality, bro. That's all I can say on that. It ain't reality. It's not facts. Period. It's not facts. Like that's it, man. That's it. Like I apologize, bro. Like I really feel sorry that your parents didn't get you hooked on phonics so you can be more intelligent. I apologize that your mama decided that the one sperm cell she wasn't going to swallow was the one that developed your brain. I'm sorry for that. But at the end of the day, you gotta be better. You gotta be better, bro. Be better when it comes down to it. Petty, what's going on, Tony? Glad to have you in the building, bro. Glad to have you in the building. Vooch isn't washed, but he's not aging. Woo. What we doing? Definitely not aging gracefully. I mean, listen, Vooch's game is going to be his game, right? And he's going to have the same limitations. Those things aren't going to all of a sudden start changing or fixing themselves right now because at this age. It's just not. It's only going to get worse, right? He can tighten some things up, but pretty much it's always going to be the limitations that he had are only going to get more evident the older he gets, right? So Dan Miles says, hey, the best combo is sports. And that is hilarious, bro. That's funny. Gotta hand it to Keys. He was the determined sperm. So that is funny. That's funny. Everyone talking about Vooch, but who they think we can get, they better be happy with Vooch. Listen, Vooch is a top 10 center in the league, man. It is probably top 15 at this point, usually, right? But that doesn't mean that he's perfect. He's definitely not perfect. But look at power forwards we put next to him. That's another thing as well. And that's why roster construction is hugely important when you're building a roster, especially with players that have huge flaws in them, right? Everyone talking about Vooch. I already read that one. Let's see Vooch take advantage of not calling for the ball, having it on the wing quickly. But what do you listen? I get that you want to be right, Frank Pace. First of all, bro, like how has your name got Pace in it and not a single fact is sticking in your mind? I don't understand it. It's wild, bro. It's wild. You got my girl over here crying for me roasting this man. Hey, listen, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. That ain't even Petty Roosevelt. I was just about to say Bulls need to put Carter and Craig in the starting lineup, but Kobe came out decent tonight. Probably seeing his boy Pat get benched turned him up. Well, the thing is, like I said before, Pat is trying to find his role and understand in this new. Well, damn, we into the third quarter. I love you guys. Go Bulls. See you, Red. I'll see you guys at the post game show.